power of the common people. We are the common people. Your host, the most, Marcy for MLK. We coming back. We did a week, a whole week, working, pursuing our happiness, stepping into time, pursuing our life one day at a time. We, the power of the common people, are so at peace and in good health. And I hope you are in peace and as well as good health. This is another episode, and I want you and tell yourself you did this. You made it. You made another week through this week and the week behind that week. We are delving and diving into some economical times right now. We, the power of the common people, we haven't seen anything dramatically hit on our laps. We know for a fact that everything don't come hard, but it don't come easy. We've been challenged in this life to live a yo-yo life. There is so many challenges that we came through. That's why I said, tell yourself that you made it. We've been studying and sizing up and standing for our own cause. The power to the people need to have the power. This time in our life, as we live in this American world, we've solved our own problems. But one of the problems that we cannot solve is wages. How to maintain a full life. In this country, there is, again, as I say, division. And the division is so real thick. And the power of the people need to be in it. We need to continue to think about looking at these laws that we have went through centuries, years, decades, days, weeks, at this moment. I want to oppose to you. We need to start changing these laws. We need to stand up and make changes. It needs to start in our mind as well as our actions. I'm here to put the process in your mind so you can understand how important it is for us to live in a better world than we got going on now. We've been existing. There is freedom for those who are free. We still got a chokehold over our heads. We're one way here and one step from homelessness. Some of us know it gets hard, but we manage. And some of us have been not so lucky and have found ourselves trying to survive in a world that has got so many problems, and in the world that has better living qualities, that this life I'm talking about may not exist to the one who's holding that fat bag, but it's hurting in another kind of way. So I'm going to tell a story, and this story is going to be titled Behind the Curtain. The story is going to take place in a location where the location is in another country. The year is 2424. Now remember, this is just a story. And the story, the reason why this is only, not to take it personal, but this is just for entertainment purposes. And I'm going to entertain you. In this story, there were the people, okay? And they lived in this land. And the people, they was given the land to live on. While living on the land, they worked for the behind the curtains people. They worked 7 days out of a week. Everybody in the family worked. There was no education. There was no way of life because they lived on the land. If they didn't work, they would be thrown off the land. And when they're thrown off the land, everything they owned was destroyed. So the people listened to the behind the curtain people who made all the rules and switched up in a minute. Every month, their salary that they earned increased because their living standards, their housing, the rent increased, their water bill increased. They had to be able to entertain themselves, so they looked at television. Their bill they had to pay to even look at the coming TV box increased. Their electricity increased. And as their salary increased, everything else increased. For 10 years, this went on. The people had to live in order to survive. And when they didn't have enough food to feed their families, they went and got support. The support services was ran by the people behind the curtain. And they only gave out food between midnight and 12 in the morning. You only had so many hours to work. But when the food ended up being scarce without a bear in your cabinets, they were giving the opportunity to get 2 chickens, a bag of rice, 1 loaf of bread, powdered eggs, and powdered milk. This would go on every end of the months. And the people were so conditioned in eating this food and living in this lifestyle where they work 7 days a week and they would run out of money. So the behind the curtain people was feeling like, we're kind of sick of them. All they do is beg, complain. They should be lucky. We provide a home for them, the land that they live on. If it wasn't for us, they wouldn't have nothing. We provide a job for them. We're lucky that we only let them work 7 hours. If it was up to us, they would work 12 hours a day. And they were lazy to them. The people behind the curtains began to look at their land and say, wait a minute. If we all got together and get them off the land, we can redevelop something and get more money. Because by them being on the land, all we're getting is a tax credit break. That's not enough money for all of us. So they begin to plot against the people. They gave the people warning and begin to cut jobs. And then they begin to stop feeding the people. They begin to cut off water. And they had a town meeting. And the people behind the curtains made a new rule. They begin to tell the people, you guys are taking up too much of our water supply. You barely even have enough left, which was a lie because they got the water from the ocean. And it's enough water on land, but the people believed it. They felt like shutting off the water. Let's go back and let's take a break. power to the people, the common people. We hold the power. Let's go to part two. Back to behind the curtain. Now the people, they was given a 3-day notice. Everybody that was on this land was picked out. So they got rid of the people who was kind of standing up to them. The people who were complaining to them. They got rid of the people who was kind of like violent to them. They picked them out. They kicked them out. They moved immediately. Everybody on that land was fearful. They were afraid that the people behind the curtains would kick them out. So they went to work. They began to doing overtime, not getting paid, because they just didn't want to be like the people who got kicked out. They just didn't want to scare the people behind the curtain. So as the people begin to confirm themselves and conform themselves in such a way that they listened, they went to work on time, they didn't complain. But the people who were kicked out was walking around town in places they should have never been because they had no place to go. But the people behind the curtains went and spent over $1 million and opened up a campground for the people they kicked out. And as they knew that these people was wandering around in places, in parts of the city that was well-to-do, that was not where they should be at. The people that was well-to-do didn't want to see anybody from that. We the people, the coming ground people, they didn't want to see any of them. They paid for them to stay as far away from their area as possible. So the policing began to center around that area near the campgrounds and to keep the people in the campground area. And as the people behind the curtain, they decided to continue getting their land sold so they can get something developed, a business, they thought. They set their heads down, wondering how to get rid of these people. What can they do to get them off the land? They began to raise their rent. Some of them left because they couldn't afford it. They began to decrease their salaries, their hours, giving them no point of life. They provided them no support services when they could not pay their rent. They began to evicting them, pushing them to the campgrounds. The campgrounds begin to organizing, becoming a village. The people begin to learn how they can work together. All the effect that happened on the land, that the people behind the curtains, they end up moving the people off the land. And they end up having very few people there because they did not have the business all together. But the heads begin to start thinking how to plot and get these people evicted off their land without paying anything. The people who can afford to stay on the land, they had to save money. They saved all their income taxes. And it's just so many things that was going on while they were on that land. Children that were born started to get certain diseases. Elders started to get more sicker. It was more harmful to be on their land than to be in the campgrounds. The campground people began to work together in such a way that everybody had a trade. There were carpenters, plumbers, people who knew how to build, and construction workers. There were nurses, CNAs. There were healthcare people who worked in the field. Everybody seemed to have a skill to help each other. They built a village. The plumber and the growers and the facilities that they built their own land off the campground that they were thrown to, from dirt to wealth. They made their own life. They built a place to live because they put their hands in it. Now, what was happening as the years go by, children begin to die on the land that was owned by investors who thought it would be a great idea to invest in a land that is now diseased. It is destroyed. There is so much happening on this land. The land has become unlivable. What ended up happening was the owners behind the curtains start to go to jail, get prosecuted for knowingly distributing chemicals on the land where mothers who were having babies had diseases because the people behind the curtain used chemicals to kill, radiation to destroy. Their greed, they wanted the people off the land so they can rebuild and re-pocket. But what happened? They end up going to court losing $800 billion, paying off the people, going to jail, being convicted 30 years for killing and destroying people. We, the common people, your host, Marcy for MLK. Power of the common people. Your host, Marcy for MLK. And that story that I just told, it was just for entertainment purposes. I do not want to affect anybody's brain. It's just a story. And behind the curtain is a reflection of what goes on behind the curtains. When I think of that, I realize that the story, The Wizard of Oz, the Oz, has a unique way of telling its story. The Wiz has another interpretation. Both stories show the dog, out of all creatures on this planet, the dog was able to run and open the curtains, revealing the wizard. And the wizard controlled everything. People were scared of him. They didn't know that he was really a man who was cowardly. And a dog sniffed him out, literally. So, when we are looking at what's going on in this world, but when we focus on what's going on here in our country, we as the people and the power of the people, the power of the common people, we hold that power. We are the people who pull the curtains back and show reality of what people, cowardly people, do. As I'm speaking now, live, last week, somebody lost their place. Somebody lost their job. Somebody got sent to jail. Somebody got sentenced up to prison. Somebody lost a family member. The power of the common people. We speak for everybody. We pull the curtains back. We drop kick with an eyeball look. Our hearts is in it because cowardly will never be us. We're going to stand and protest on this mic until everybody know in their hearts that they're worth it, that we as the people must push forward. We as the people are blessed to be here at this time. We need to go forward, not backwards. We already been through tribes and tribulations. We've been begging and crying and scratching and kicking down doors. When Tupac said what he said, and I don't need to quote it, when Malcolm X said, all means necessary, I don't need to quote it. But we, the power of the people, of the common people, have work to do. We have people who are the gatekeepers. They kept us from getting through those doors. When I mean they try to keep it going, I think 2020 was just the beginning of boiling hot water. What I'm about to do is make the recipe. The power of the people, the common people, we need to make and serve everybody. If we all gonna eat off this plate, we all gonna eat the same things. We're going to make the move. And that's why you see me on the freeway, because the speed lane I'm in is too quick. The speed that we're going at is 95 miles per hour. We the people stand for a lot. As I say, many have went before and many is to come. Your host, Marcy, power of the people. Marcy 4MLK. Welcome back to Power of the Common People. Your host, and I'm the most, Marcy for MLK. Now, that story, imagine having the freedom of solving all these problems that we encounter. How is it that the war on drugs that never played out? Please believe this. The border that that definitely don't play out. And and we look at homelessness. This ain't playing out. This is not playing out. It's crazy. If I tell you how much money was spent, $175 billion spent in California to help the homeless. Now, I myself, no, I can put together. Uh, if I was starving, I can put together 5 different meals in 1 week with $20. Give me 175 billion. You don't even have to give me that much. I bet I put it together and come up with a solution. All I need is a couple of y'all dudes, y'all brothers. Y'all can sit down and we can slice this up real quick. There's no solution. This is a make believe, illusional. Somebody is upside down, sitting on their head because it keep playing out. Power of the common people. Listen up. The only way that I keep hearing now is that somebody is going to give so much money to rectify homelessness and go into the low income community and bridge together a plan where they can go and get job ready skills. Now, this is supposed to be something coming in. Um, why is it just now coming in? I mean, I recall that it's always something special coming in when we get to this point when people need to come together and make, let's put it like this, a judgment and come out on one accord. Let's put it like that. We do this at a special time where we count numbers. Unfortunately, we, the people, the power of the common people, is not asked what do we need. So, as the story that I told resonate and connects when correlation, some people may believe that things are going to get better when, in fact, if we, the power of the common people, start not to see this, we must be looking backwards. Let's look forward and understand that there are some things that don't add up. And behind the curtain, the people who are in these positions, their job is to provide certain support. And evidently, we must not be getting it because look how we rolling today. Well, if we keep on rolling down this hill, And we keep on bumping into these bumps and not fixing the solution. It's gonna get it's gonna get hard. It's gonna get to the point where if I don't get it, I mean, I'm gonna quote this. How I'm supposed to get it when this world ain't gonna give it to me. So I might as well take it. Quote. So if you got it and you feel like it's yours and you never gave or played with let anybody play with your toys and you kept it all to yourself, well, the people that live across the way is starting to see this and they're gonna want your toys. And if they don't get them, they definitely gonna take them. And so if there's no solution for stopping this, because we're running on a train that needs to be slowed down. And as we're getting into more and more population of homelessness, because have you ever got a chance to ever see Skid Row, Philadelphia? Have you ever got a chance to see Oregon, Seattle, Washington, Arizona? I can go on and on. And the worst of worst is people who are trying to live on a system that is killing their spirit. So many people have changed their mind and wanted to give up and went a moment of silence, peace. And as I thought about some people who I've seen in my life and went to school with who are not, they're not upstairs, it's not there no more. This drug and this life plane go hand in hand. It makes you want to give up, give in, because everyone is looking for hope. But real people have lived this life, and real people, when I say real, I mean it's hard. When I say real, I mean real hard. There is people right now who not it's just out of their control. They sleeping on the ground right now. Power of the common people. Peace to them. May the Creator find them peace. Every day, gas go up. Every day, we have to pay. Every day, within a week's time, you've spent almost close to 100 trying to rush back and forth day after day, coming and going, making this life make sense to you, giving it your all. Nor county, nor state, or federal, nor anybody know your hustle but you. We just need to restart. We, power of the common people, listen up. We need to restart. We need to challenge these programs they gave us. This political, I'm not even trying to say that. It's so biased. You have people who think of themselves before they think of anybody. They mishandle monies. They don't care to build any affordable housing. They don't care to let the wages meet the standard living. They don't support us. They're tossing us up as if we're salad. We're hidden under the rug, thrown in the closet, not spoken about. Remember, today is your power. In order to get peace, when you're in your house, some of those don't. It's sad. We don't understand it is hard to be homeless in these elements. It is hard to go to a place where you're going to have hunger and then find out you're giving slop. And then during the Christmas time, they give you some gloves and some socks and a hat, maybe a scarf if you're lucky, a candy cane with candy in it, and say Merry Christmas. As you know, people have found their life in the most hardest box, trying to get out of homelessness, turning to drugs to relieve the pain, or alcohol, or worrisome, being thrown off the bus where it's warm, or out of the bus area where it's warm, and thrown back off of the streets. We, power of the people, the common people, how close are we to be that person? And if it does happen to you or your neighbor, right now, if somebody was to knock on your door and tell you to hurry up, you got 5 minutes to get out, what would you bring with you? Who makes these decisions without a heart to kick a small child and a mother, a family, an elder person out on the streets? And spend $175 billion to put them in a place. How does that work? And they are homeless. Next, for the break. So I'm going to end this and say peace to you, power of the common people. Your host, Marcy4MLK. Thank you for listening.